Thank you. Well, congratulations, cadets. I know this is your day, but I know you also appreciate your cadre and the staff. And I actually have a few recognitions that I'd like to do for them before we start your ceremony. So I've got 4 different awards that I want to present today. And the first 2 are for Outstanding Teacher in Military Sciences and Leadership. And the first one is at the instructor level, and I'd like to recognize Sergeant First Class Ken McFauley. I was hearing great things about Sergeant A before I even got the nominations for this award, and from both the cadets and the cadre, he's done a great job. His nominator said, he stepped up and assumed the role and responsibilities of the senior military instructor while continued to serve as the primary instructor for MS-1 cadets. Sergeant First Class McFauley assists the PMS in enforcing the standard and improving the environment of the program. His technical and tactical knowledge, motivation, and professionalism set the standard for cadre and cadets to emulate. Sergeant First Class McFauley's selfless service has increased the morale, discipline, and pride throughout the ROTC programs and footprint. Congratulations. Can't get everything up there. Thanks, sir. I think this is the right one. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
I'm gonna cry.
Okay, now that these all got messed up. Okay. The next one is at the level of professor, outstanding teacher, and that goes to Major Ahmad Matthews, assistant professor. His nominator, who is actually one of the cadets, said he is an outstanding professor. He works diligently and make sure we have everything we need to exceed and excel in his classes. He is approachable and professional. Congratulations. The next award goes to Military Science and Leadership Outstanding Advisor, and that goes to Captain Matt Goki, instructor. His nominator said, I recommend Captain G because he goes above and beyond for his students. He has a listening ear and gives expert and accurate advice. He always has a smile on his face. I aspire to be like him when I am in the Army. He is kind and relatable. He does not judge people and has a welcoming presence. He is a subject matter expert in the field. I am glad to have Captain G as an instructor.
See if you'll get this right on the third try.
And the last one goes to the outstanding staff member, and that goes to Miss Jan Bass. So somebody else is going to have to take the pictures for her. Miss Bass is our RU, which is the Recruitment and Operations Officer. I just have to say she's been here, I think the longest of the cadre, or pretty close to the longest. She's just turned enrollment around. General Cavan can tell you, when I came here 8.5 years ago, I got a letter from the Department of Defense that they were going to shut us down, and it was because we weren't making our numbers. And I can tell you that Jan has made a world of difference. Her nominator says she continues to seek ways to recruit for and promote the ROTC program on the extension, the extension, and the crosstown campuses. Due to her efforts, for the first time in a while, the program has cadets participating in the ROTC program from all 5 campuses. Let's give all of the cadre a hand of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Major Ahmad Matthews, and on behalf of Colonel Brent Clemmer, 7th Brigade Commander, University of Tennessee at Martin Chancellor Dr. Keith Carver, Lieutenant Colonel Bernard House, myself, and the Skyhawk Battalion, I would like to welcome distinguished guests, family, and friends to the University of Tennessee at Martin Spring 2022 commissioning ceremony. A special welcome to the civilian aide to the Secretary of the Army, Honorable John Harple, University of Tennessee at Martin Chancellor Dr. Keith Carver, Lieutenant General Dennis Calvin, U.S. Army retired, Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs Dr. Andy Luter, the Dean of Agriculture and Applied Sciences Dr. Todd Winters, the Dean of Graduate Studies Dr. Joey Melhorn, Chief of Communications Officer Mr. Bud Grimes, Colonel retired Jeffrey Grimes, and Colonel retired Larry Smith. Today you will witness 7 University of Tennessee at Martin cadets, Penn Second Lieutenant, receive their oath of office and join the United States Army. Will you please stand for the playing of the national anthem and remain standing for the invocation given by Cadet Logan Sakarapani.
Good afternoon. If you go ahead and bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this wonderful day to be able to gather with each other and celebrate the commissioning of 7 wonderful leaders into second lieutenants in the United States Army. I pray and ask that you continue to light their path and guide them as they pursue their dreams in this career. I pray that in times of hardship, they seek your word with a listening heart. Thank you again, Lord, and it's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. The ROTC program began at the University of Tennessee at Martin in September 1952. The Army awarded the university's senior ROTC status in 1964. ROTC is a leadership development program, and as such prides itself as one of the best leader development programs in the United States. ROTC incorporates the latest adult learning methods and pedagogy to facilitate the leader development of its cadets by examining leadership fundamentals and a practical application of leadership of its cadets by examining leadership fundamentals during laboratories and other off-campus activities. Since ROTC is an officer-producing source, students are exposed to the Army as a profession from the viewpoint of a junior officer. Small unit tactical team building exercises serve as a vehicle to afford students an opportunity to practice and hone their leadership skills. The university program at the University of Tennessee at Martin breeds excellence. The cadre are professionals that dedicate their time to ensuring the cadets are well trained. This program develops strong leaders that are prepared to handle situations in a rapidly changing environment. A cadet from this program is well-rounded, an organized leader, a team player, a scholar in academics and in the military arts, a strong communicator, and a technical expert in individual and team collective tasks. Our extracurricular programs emulate recruitment through championship competitions and excellent teamwork. In short, our program is an excellent place for a student looking to better their life in every aspect. Ladies and gentlemen, the Professor of Military Science, Lieutenant Colonel Bernard House.
All right, thank you. Hey, to our distinguished guests, family, and friends of the Skyhawk ROTC Battalion, thank you for joining us for today's ceremony. To the families and friends of our soon-to-be second lieutenants, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your support of the cadets. Today is a sentimental day. For me, it signifies the end of instruction for my first class of cadets. I hope they learn as much from me as I learned from them. Now, you might be asking yourself, what could a lieutenant colonel possibly learn from cadets? Well, let me share a couple of the items that I have learned. From Cadet Maxwell, I learned what Texas casual really means. I am now the proud owner of a pair of cowboy boots and a large belt buckle. Cadet Grimes has taught me more about animals than I could ever possibly want to know. Cadet Wright has taught me, when you want to make PT fun, add 1,000 burpees. And I think the best thing that I have learned came from Cadet Carpenter. He taught me, even if you have a high-powered lens on your camera, you still have to invade an individual's personal space and get within 3 inches to get a good photo. All jokes aside, it has been a true honor to have you in my class. Looking at you today reminds me of something I read a while back. It was a statement from a civilian director of a civilian personnel advisory center. He stated, "I believe 3 key qualities that a leader needs to have are strong listening skills, the ability to engage in tough situations, and the ability to ask for help when needed. As a leader, you have to be able to accept and take all opinions, even when they differ from yours. You have to be able to go into situations that may cause conflict because ignoring them will cause them to fester. There will be times when you feel as you're over your head, and it happens to everyone. Recognizing that you do not know everything and then reaching out to learn from those who do know more than you or have experienced more than you is vital to your team and to the mission. You are entering the Army during a critical time. We are operating in a complex environment, but I am confident you are the leaders we need in our formation, leading our nation's greatest treasures. Lieutenants, congratulations. As you start your military journey, I will keep you, your family, and your soldiers in my prayers. Remember to listen, learn, and lead. And if you need anything, just call me." Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for Cadets Wright, Grimes, Maxwell, Mooney, Worley, Carpenter, and Hamill. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Lieutenant General Dennis Calvin, United States Army retired. Lieutenant General Calvin is a graduate of the University of Tennessee at Martin, earning a bachelor's degree in agriculture. He was commissioned as an Air Defense Artillery Second Lieutenant and served in the Army for over 30 years, culminating his career as the Commanding General of the United States Army Accessions Command. After retirement, he worked for Lockheed Martin as the Vice President of International Business Development and Strategic Initiatives for Air and Missile Defense. You can read his full bio in the program. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Lieutenant General Dennis Calvin.
Good afternoon. All right. Thanks, Bernie, for the kind introduction. And like you said, they can read all the stuff they want to in the bio on the program. Honorable John Harpel, Chancellor Carver, if he's made it somewhere maybe in the audience there, Dean Winters, other distinguished representatives of the university and staff, future second lieutenants, parents, family, staff of the University of Tennessee Martin ROTC program, friends, neighbors, countrymen, and sports fans. That should cover everybody here, I think. When I talked to Bernie yesterday, I said, well, Bernie, how long do you want me to talk? He said about 5 to 7 minutes. I realized no general officers ever talk for 5 to 7 minutes when given the stage, so it may go just a tiny bit longer. Just 18,124 days ago, I sat exactly where you all are sitting, awaiting with anticipation and understanding the challenges of serving my country as an officer in the United States Army. Yes, I realize I'm a dinosaur. In fact, I classify myself as a pterodactyl. No, I cannot remember a single word our guest speaker said that day, even though then Captain Eddie Bevel, now retired Colonel Bevel, is a dear friend still to this day. So I will be mindful and keep that in mind and keep my remarks short. I couldn't have been prouder to have my wife and my mother pin on those gold bars, as I know each of these cadets will be equally proud to have their family, parents, and spouses participate. Now, Chancellor Carver, if he was here, and Dean Winters have heard this story before, so you're just going to have to bear with it. But it's important as I talk about a couple of other things as I go along in my comments. I got married as a junior here at the University of Tennessee in 1968. About 6 months prior to graduation, my wife said to me, "What's this Army thing?" I said, "Honey, don't worry about it. It's only for 2 years." I used that line 16 more times during my 34-year career. Life was uncertain back then, kinda like it is today. Vietnam War, an army fraught with drugs and disorder, a nation that did not respect anyone with a uniform on. Thank God that has mostly changed. Finally, we've exited the longest war in the history of our nation. We don't face the horrendous problems of drugs that we had in the 60s and 70s. And yes, wearing a uniform is even respected today, mostly. I could spend the next few minutes reviewing the things I know these cadets learned over the past 4 years in ROTC, the basic rules of how to be a good officer, foundations of leadership, individual and collective skills, as well as character, critical thinking, problem solving, and team building. But you know those. So I want to spend the next couple of minutes talking about experiences I had in my 34 years in the Army. Just 5 months after commissioning in May of 1970, I drove through the front gates of El Paso, Texas, Fort Bliss, to begin my officer basic course. I drove through those gates with a wife, a cat, and everything I owned in a 1965 Pontiac Bonneville. 34 years later, I drove out of the gates of Fort Monroe, Virginia, same wife, 2 cats, a semi filled with earthly possessions, and a heart filled with more memories than could fill the university library. You simply can't get those memories by managing a Procter & Gamble Pampers line. Remember that? Lots of other jobs out there. You'll never get the memories you'll get in the United States Army. What happened in those 34 years? Well, I changed and the Army changed. It will happen to you as well. You see, I did not plan to make the Army a career. I planned to serve my 2 years, come back and work for Farm Bureau or sell fertilizer or God knows what else. What changed my mind was people. They're called soldiers. America's sons and daughters whose successes and failures will rest on your shoulders. Over my 34-year career, I had the privilege a country boy could never have possibly imagined. Along the path, I had some remarkable highs and some memory-altering lows. I could list 10 pages worth of things that have happened, good and bad. But I tell you this simply to say, life's decisions can truly be rewarding, but it is about choices, and it is about opportunities. Remember, I said, honey, it's only for 2 years. As I look back, all, and I mean all, of the accomplishments that I had, my units had, our Army had, or our nation had, were simply made on the backs of people. Not equipment, not technology, not concepts, but the sheer drive and determination and sacrifice of people. We call them soldiers. Our Army needs solid, values-based, full of grit lieutenants leading our soldiers today, not tomorrow, but the minute you step in front of that first platoon. I trust you're up to that challenge. If not, get that way before you ever step in front of that platoon. One of my favorite quotes is by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "My chief want in life is for someone who will make me do what I can." Someone who will make me do what I can. What do you think he was saying? Well, he was saying that in each of us, and especially in each of the 7 we're going to pin bars on today, you have potential far beyond your understanding and even your imagination. My someone became soldiers, and I think they will be yours as well. You know, they have an old saying, play the cards you're dealt, but choose who plays at the table. Let me mention just 2 of those who were at my table when I played the game. Brigadier General Bobby Porter was the Deputy Commanding General of the United States Army Recruiting Command. I was tasked to pick him up in Memphis, Tennessee, and drive him to Southeast Arkansas State to do exactly what I'm doing today, participate in a commissioning ceremony. Now, have you ever driven across Arkansas? How often can you talk about how good the rice looks today? So after about a few minutes, 30 minutes or so, I asked General Porter what I was convinced was the most intellectual question that could be asked. General Porter, how do you become a general? Well, 30 minutes later, it seemed, he gave me the most profound statement I've had in my entire life. He said, you become a general by being a good captain. So the challenge is, be good at where you're at, and the rest of it will take care of itself. Promotion, awards, self-satisfaction. Don't ever forget that. Probably more has been written about leadership than any other subject. Well, I'm sorry, let me go back to one. General Maxwell Thurman, the toughest general in the United States Army. Hi, Keith, good to see you. He had 2 rules. Rule 14. When in charge, take charge. And you will be in charge. And don't ever let anyone take over that responsibility, because the buck stops with you. Now, you're going to have some great non-commissioned officers that are going to help you, but you better listen to what they say, but you're going to make the decisions. As I said, probably more has been written about leadership than any other subject. However, the best definition of leadership in my 34-year career is simply 4 words by Omar Bradley: see and be seen. You know what he's talking about? Don't hide behind your desk in the office, if a lieutenant has an office these days, I don't know. But get out and see what's going on in your unit every day, in the motor pool, wherever it is. What happens when you're out there seeing what's going on? They see you, and they know you care. They know you're involved. They know you're a leader. And folks, that's all you got to know, is see and be seen. Let me explain, and I hope you'll remember those 4 words, because they will make a difference in your life. I hope you also understand that success is not created by spontaneous combustion. You have to set yourself on fire. Parents can't do it. Your spouse can't do it. Your fellow officers can't do it. You have to set yourself on fire. And if you can't get on fire, get out of the way, because somebody will. So what's the best way to tie all this together? Answer a simple question for me. What's the difference between a lion and a gazelle? Anybody know? Well, when the lion wakes up in the morning, he knows that if he doesn't run faster than the gazelle, he won't get to eat that day. And the gazelle wakes up knowing if he doesn't run faster than the lion, he will be eaten that day. So what's the moral of the story? When the sun comes up, cadets, you better be running every day. You are joining an exceptional army, one that will be tested again and again, I promise you. At home, as budgets are cut, and in other lands where our interests, our international interests, are at hand. I can promise you that every day, though, will be a picnic. Would you do it all over again? And my response is no. And then I have to explain. No, I tell them, I'd go to church more often. I'd play more golf. I'd spend more time with my family. But I wouldn't change being an American soldier. My hope and prayer is that after your term of service, whether it's 5 years or 30 years, you can say the same thing. You're about to take the most important oath you will ever take. Unlike other nations, and it was covered earlier, you're not swearing an allegiance to an individual or a political party. You're swearing an allegiance to the Constitution of the... It's been a great ride. Those 34 years, I highly recommend it. Thank you for your time and patience for this old farm boy. May God bless each of you as you begin your careers. May God bless the United States of America.
On 5 July 1917, General John J. Pershing oversaw the creation of a new military unit dealing with gas, the Gas Service Section. The government recruited soldiers for it to be based at Camp American University, Washington, D.C. The predecessor to the 1st Gas Regiment was the 30th Engineer Regiment. The 30th was activated on 15 August 1917 at Camp American University. A 17 October 1917 memorandum from the Adjutant General to the Chief of Engineers directed that the gas service station consist of 4 majors, 6 captains, 10 first lieutenants, and 15 second lieutenants. Additional War Department orders established a chemical service section that included 47 commissioned officers and 95 enlisted personnel. The Chemical Corps is a branch of the United States Army tasked with defending against chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear weapons. The Chemical Corps branch insignia consists of a cobalt blue enamel benzene ring superimposed over 2 cross gold retorts. The branch insignia, which was adopted in 1980 by the fledgling chemical service, measures ½ an inch in height by 1.81 inches in width. Crossed shells with a dragon head was also commonly used in French for the chemical service. The Chemical Warfare Service approved the insignia in 1921, and in 1924, the rank adopted a cobalt blue enamel. When the Chemical Warfare Service changed designations to the Chemical Corps in 1946, the symbol was retained. Cadet Nicholas Chandler Carpenter was born in Pontiac, Michigan. He is the son of Alan Carpenter and Mary Carpenter. He has one little sister, Caitlin. Cadet Carpenter has been a cadet for 3.5 years and is obtaining his Bachelor of Science in Agriculture Communications. The bar pin is an opportunity for family members and loved ones to participate directly in the commissioning ceremony. Not only does the act signify the first time an individual wears the rank of an officer, but it acknowledges those people that have helped the cadet earn the commission. It honors and signifies the love and support provided to the new lieutenant. By pinning the gold bars onto your loved one's uniform, you also represent the many others that helped develop an officer of character. At this time, Cadet Carpenter's mother, Mary Carpenter, and sister, Caitlin, will pin Cadet Carpenter as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Chemical Branch. Lieutenant General Carver will now present Second Lieutenant Carpenter with his certificate of commission. The Silver Dollar Salute is an honored tradition. A brand new second lieutenant proudly hands a shiny silver dollar to the first enlisted soldier who salutes him or her. Congress authorized this on April 2nd, 1792. The silver dollar traditionally is the only coin given in exchange for the first salute. The coin represents more than a dollar in currency. To every new officer, it has special significance. It represents a symbolic receipt of respect due the newly earned rank and position. It signifies a deep sense of gratitude from the new officer for the knowledge that enlisted soldiers, especially NCOs, have passed on to them during training. It is acknowledgement from one professional soldier to another that says, "Welcome to our service and to the profession of arms." Second Lieutenant Carpenter's first salute is to his father, Petty Officer First Class Alan Carpenter. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for Second Lieutenant Nicholas Carpenter.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. There was many colleges I passed on the way to UT Martin coming from East Tennessee, and a couple other ROTC programs. When my parents came into town, which it's been a challenge with how far away I've moved, I realized how much I've changed and how much I've learned at this university. This program has taught me a lot, and the school has too. And now that I opened up my mind, I've learned a lot from them, and maybe they learned something from me. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. And even though maybe there were some people who wish I had, I was here for 3.5 years with some amazing cadets that I'm very thankful for. I recently learned that I'm a fourth-generation soldier. I had thought that I was kind of in the back of my head that I was a third-generation soldier, but 4 generations. And that is a big legacy. There's a legacy at this college and at this university that I hope to, well, I'm not sure if I can add anything to it, but I'm thankful to be a part of it. Thank you to the cadets, the cadre, who have taught me so much over the last 4 years. It's been an honor. Thank you.
The U.S. Army Veterinary Corps was formally established by an act of Congress on 3 June 1916. However, recognition of the need for veterinary expertise had been evolving since 1776, when General Washington directed that a regiment of horse with the farrier be raised. Today, the Army Veterinary Corps, composed of over 780 veterinarians and warrant officers in both active and the Army Reserves, concludes 90 years of historic achievements about which it can be tremendously proud. Accomplishing its broad functions of food safety and security, animal care, veterinary public health, and research and development will continue to be essential as long as the need for military forces remain. The Veterinary Corps Insignia is a gold-colored metal caduceus, 25 millimeters in height, bearing a V in black enamel centered. Cadet Amanda Nicole Grimes was selected for an educational delay and will attend the University of Tennessee at Knoxville College of Veterinary Medicine this fall. Cadet Amanda Nicole Grimes was born in Bethesda, Maryland. She is a daughter of Jeffrey and Michelle Grimes. She has 2 sisters, Samantha and Rachel Grimes, and a brother, Jeffrey Grimes. Cadet Grimes is graduating with a Bachelor of Science in Veterinary Sciences and Technology and a minor in Military Sciences, and will be attending veterinary school at the University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine in Knoxville, Tennessee in fall 2022. At this time, Cadet Grimes' father, Jeffrey, mother Michelle, and sister Samantha will pin Cadet Grimes as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Veterinary Corps.
No cry. Yeah.
Lieutenant General Carver will now present Second Lieutenant Grimes with her certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Grimes' first salute is to her father, Colonel Retired Jeffrey Grimes. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in another round of applause for Second Lieutenant Amanda Grimes.
Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for being here. I cannot express how thankful I am for my family, my parents, my siblings, including my siblings who cannot be here today, all of my academic and professional advisors and mentors that have been here throughout the last 4 years and beyond. I am so thankful to my cadre who have supported me and taught me and helped to develop my leadership skills. And I am ecstatic and thrilled to be able to go forward and serve my country. Thank you so much.
The Armor Branch of the United States Army was created provisionally in 1940 as Armored Force under the Chief of the Armored Force, Brigadier General Adna R. Chaffee, Jr., and took control of all tank units and infantry and cavalry units. Even though the Armor Branch traces its lineage back to the original cavalry units, its first beginnings date from the First World War. The United States Tank Corps was established in 1918, but then split back into the infantry and cavalry in 1921. The Armor Branch insignia consists of a front view of a U.S. M26 Pershing tank superimposed over two crossed shields. Represents the World War II collar insignia with the Army Reorganization Act of 1950, Section 404, Army Bulletin 9, in which the Army insignia became authorized to wear in February 1951. Cadet Marshal Britton Hamill was born in Atlanta, Georgia. His parents are Sharon and Gregory West. Cadet Hamill has served 4 years in ROTC while serving 1 year in the National Guard. He will be graduating in December with his Master in Business Administration. At this time, Cadet Hamill's parents, Sharon and Gregory West, and Captain Matthew Goki, will pin Cadet Hamill as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Armor Branch. Lieutenant General Carver will now present Second Lieutenant Hamill with his certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Hamill's Silver Dollar Salute is to Sergeant First Class Daniel Gillen. Sergeant Afaje will receive the salute and Silver Dollar on behalf of Sergeant First Class Gillen. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in another round of applause for Second Lieutenant Marshal Britton Hamill.
I'll keep this short and sweet. I'd like to thank my parents for coming all the way out here and helping me get this far in life so far. I'd like to thank my cadre for being very motivated and never giving up on me. I'd like to thank my friends and peers for always sticking with me and hearing what I had to say, regardless if I was right or wrong. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
The U.S. Army Field Artillery Branch traces its origins to 17 November 1775, when the Continental Congress unanimously elected Henry Knox colonel of the Regiment of Artillery. The regiment formally entered service on 1 September 1776. During the 19th century, a total of 7 artillery regiments were formed, which contained a mixture of heavy artillery companies and light artillery batteries. The light artillery batteries took the role of field artillery, even though they did not use that designation. The 7 artillery regiments were designated as regiments of artillery and were not distinguished as either coast or field artillery, as was the practice in the 20th century. Field artillery is called the king of battle. The field artillery branch insignia consists of 2 cross field guns, gold color metal, 13/16 inch in height. Cross cannons for artillery have been in continuous use since 1834, when they were placed on regimental colors, knapsacks, and as part of the cap insignia for artillery officers. In 1901, the artillery was divided into coast and field artillery, and the branch insignia was modified by the addition of a plain scarlet oval at the intersection of the cannons. The field artillery insignia was approved on 17 July 1902. It had a gold wheel on the red oval, and the coast artillery had a gold projectile on the red oval. This red oval and wheel was replaced on 4 April 1907 by 2 field guns. It was superseded in 1957 by the Consolidated Army insignia consisting of the 2 cross field guns surmounted by missiles. In 1968, when the Air Defense Artillery and the Field Artillery were authorized to have separate insignia, the former Field Artillery insignia was reinstated. Cadet Austin Jeffrey Maxwell was raised in McKenzie, Tennessee. He is the son of Tracy Stedman and Shannon Maxwell. He has 5 sisters, Alyssa, Lydia, Carissa, Abella, and Cedar. He is married to Rebecca Maxwell and has 2 sons, Jack and Easton. Cadet Maxwell served 2 years in the Tennessee Army National Guard before contracting. He is graduating with a major in agriculture engineering technology with a concentration in land surveying and geomatics, as well as graduating with a minor in military science. Second lieutenant into the United States Army Field Artillery Branch. Lieutenant General Carver will now present Second Lieutenant Maxwell with his certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Maxwell's silver dollar first salute is to Staff Sergeant Tyler LaPointe. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in another round of applause for Second Lieutenant Austin Jeffrey Maxwell.
So for the past several months, I've been thinking about what I wanted to get up here and say and who all I wanted to thank for my success. There are many people that have helped me and guided me along this journey, but for time's sake, you know who you are. So I thought about the 3 most important people in my life that have made me the person standing before you today. First and foremost, my 2 boys, Jack and Easton. You 2 don't realize it, but every day you motivate me to get up and keep going. Going to college was the first step in securing a job that would allow me to give you all the things in life that you deserve. The Army was again another avenue to help me secure a solid future for you both. You 2 are the reason behind everything that I've done for the past 5 years. I love you both. And now that I've reached my goal, I promise you that I will be around a lot more to do the things that you boys want to do. The second person I want to thank is my wife, Becca. Your unwavering support and sacrifice throughout the years has held this family together. We knew going back to school was going to put a strain on our marriage, and at times it has, but we finally made it. If not for you and all that you have sacrificed for me to accomplish my goals, there is no telling where I'd be at today. Words cannot express how grateful I am for you and how lucky the boys and I are to have you. And to everyone who I did not get to mention, thank you. I may not have called you by name, but I can promise you that your love, support, mentorship, and encouragement has not gone unnoticed during this process and has helped guide me to be the successful man that I am today. Thank you.
Cadet Joseph Dylan Mooney was raised in Alamo, Tennessee. He is the son of Fallon Estes and Joey Mooney. He has two sisters, Lindsley Estes and Shelby Mooney. He also has one brother, Dakota Kyle. Cadet Mooney served 2 years in the ROTC program at UT Martin, as well as in the National Guard through the simultaneous membership program. He will be graduating with a bachelor's in interdisciplinary studies and pursuing a career within the branch of field artillery. At this time, Cadet Mooney's mother, Fallon Estes, and father, Joey Mooney, will pin Cadet Mooney as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Field Artillery Branch. Lieutenant General Carver will now present Second Lieutenant Mooney with his certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Mooney's first salute is to his uncle, Sergeant Stephen Mooney. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in another round of applause for Second Lieutenant Joseph Dylan Mooney.
All right, if you know me, I'm very nervous. So I just want to say thank you to every family member and friend I have in the room at this moment. It's been a great trip to bring me to the stage today, and I appreciate all of the constructive criticism and all the lessons learned. These have driven me and inspired me to continue to grow and become who I am today. So I want to say thank you to the cadre for your patience and willingness to answer questions, and never hesitate to tell me when I'm wrong. My class of 7 is very unique, and every single one of you have in some way inspired me and pushed me to be better every day. I want to say thank you for everybody that has come today for our class, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
The Transportation Corps is a combat service support branch of the U.S. Army. It is responsible for the movement of personnel and material by truck, rail, air, and sea. It is one of 3 U.S. Army logistics branches, the others being the Quartermaster Corps and the Ordnance Corps. The Corps was established in its current form on 31 July 1942 with predecessor services dating back to the American Civil War. Currently headquartered at Fort Lee, Virginia, it is the second largest branch of the Army. The transportation branch insignia consists of a wheel, a ship steering wheel, superimposed thereon, a shield charged with a winged car wheel on a rail, all of gold color metal, 1 inch in height. In 1919, a winged car wheel flanged on a rail surrounded by a rim 1 inch in diameter was approved as the insignia of the Transportation Corps. The Army Reorganization Act 4 June 1920 placed all transportation except military railways under the Quartermaster General. The Transportation Corps, essentially in its present form, was organized on 31 July 1942 as a result of the Army Reorganization Act of 1942 and has functioned since then as one of the services. The present Transportation Corps insignia is based on that of the World War I Corps with shield and ship's wheel added. The winged car wheel is for rail transportation and the mariner's helm for transport by water. The U.S. Highway marker shield is for land transportation. Cadet Dalton Andrew Worley was born in Nashville, Tennessee. He is the son of Ben and Connie Worley. He has one brother, Dylan, and is married to Libby Worley. Cadet Worley is a communications major with an emphasis in media design. At this time, Cadet Worley's wife, Libby Worley, and his mother and father, Connie and Ben Worley, will pen Cadet Worley as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Transportation Branch. Lieutenant General Carver will now present Second Lieutenant Worley with his certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Worley's silver dollar first salute is to his father-in-law, First Lieutenant retired Mike Passon. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in another round of applause for Second Lieutenant Dalton Andrew Worley.
All right, thank you guys. In order to keep a promise to my wife, I won't be too funny because she says I make everything a joke and this is serious. So firstly, I want to say thank you to my parents who for the last 23 years have just allowed me to choose any path I want without pushing me. Other than making me pick engineering when I first started college, we found out that was not the move. I want to thank my wife, who did not necessarily sign up to be in the Army, but found out when I told her I was going to transfer schools and join ROTC, and she just rolled with the punches. She said, well, my whole family's in the military. What's one more? I want to thank all my fellow cadets, especially the MS4 class, for welcoming me when I did decide to transfer. After my sophomore year at a previous institution, y'all have all been super helpful for me in my military journey, especially Maxwell teaching me the importance of a good nap on my couch while we watch whatever show we decide to watch that day. I want to thank the cadre, specifically Sergeant A, for reminding me that my real name apparently is Chad and not Dalton. I want to thank him for teaching me that getting a case of Red Bull a day is just what you need to do when you're an NCO, so I'll make sure to get my first platoon sergeant a case of Red Bull for him. And I want to thank Lieutenant Colonel for setting us up with a bunch of LPDs. Our guest speaker today is just a snippet of what the LPDs have been like that we've had all semester long for our university. So I just want to thank you to Lieutenant Colonel for that, and that's it.
The Adjutant General's Corps is a branch of the United States Army first established in 1775. This branch provides personnel service support by manning the force, providing human resources services, coordinating personnel support, Army band operations, and recruiting and retention. The objective of the Adjutant General's Corps is to maximize operational effectiveness of the total force by anticipating, manning the force, providing combatant commanders the required forces for missions, and supporting leaders and soldiers at all levels. The Adjutant General branch insignia consists of a silver medal and enamel shield, 1 inch in height, on which are 13 vertical stripes, 7 silver and 6 red. On a blue chief, 1 inch large, and 12 small silver stars. The basic design, the shield from the coat of arms of the United States, was adopted in 1872 as a solid shield of silver bearing 13 stars. In 1924, this design was authorized to be made in gold metal with the colors red, white, and blue in enamel. In December 1964, the insignia was changed to silver base metal with silver stars and silver and red enamel stripes. Cadet Matthew Casey Wright was born in Martin, Tennessee. He is married to Maggie Grace Wright. He is a son of Loretta and Matthew. Cadet Wright served 3.5 years active duties and 2 years Tennessee National Guard. He is graduating with a major in political science. Cadet Wright is the recipient of the George C. Marshall Leadership Award and is a distinguished military graduate. At this time, Cadet Wright's wife, Maggie Wright, brother, Noah Wright, and SMSI Sergeant Afaje will pin Cadet Wright as a second lieutenant into the United States Army Adjutant General's branch. Lieutenant General Carver will now present Second Lieutenant Wright with his certificate of commission. Second Lieutenant Wright's silver dollar first salute is to his grandfather, Sergeant Gary Morgan. Casey Wright.
Say it takes a village to raise somebody. In my case, it took a lot more people than a village. And if I had to stand up here and thank everybody, we'd probably be here for the rest of the night. But first off, I want to thank God for this opportunity He's given me. Maggie, couldn't have done the statue. Thank you. Thank you so much. To all the professors that are here, thank you. Thank you for teaching me all about the Constitution, because I did not know much about it when I started. But it's good I do now. To my friends, fellow cadets, cadre, y'all made this journey one of the best things that I've ever done in my life. Thank you. That is it.
Will everyone please stand as the Army's newest second lieutenants receive the oath of office from Lieutenant Colonel House. The oath of office is an important ceremonial gesture signifying the start of one's military officer career. Importantly, it makes a public commitment to the duties, responsibilities, and obligations associated with their new position. It serves as a reminder that they do not swear allegiance to a senior agency or other appointee, but an oath to support and defend the U.S. Constitution and faithfully execute their duties. Second Lieutenant Wright will now present Lieutenant General Cavan with a token of appreciation from the cadets, cadre, and staff of the Skyhawk Battalion. Please join me in a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the Army song, which you will find printed in your program. On the stage and congratulate the Army's newest second lieutenants.
Take one step back.
Yes, sir.